What a one-sided beatdown. A heavyweight masterclass by Ciryl Gane. We knew going into the fight this was going to be a striker versus grappler matchup. We just didn't know how good Gane's takedown defense actually was, seeing his last two performances. Sergey Spivak had to get the fight to the ground, but if he couldn't, he was going to get dealt with badly, as his striking has never really looked that great. So that question that everybody had about Ciryl Gane's takedown defense was somewhat answered in this fight. He defended all 3 takedowns from Sergey Spivak. Gane had some technique, especially when it came to the sprawl of the second takedown, but he really uses his athleticism and explosiveness to get away from them. So when we look at the first takedown, Sergey just shoots. He doesn't really set it up. He walks forward, shoots on the legs, and Ciryl Gane gets away with phase 1 defense. Footwork. That's the first phase of defense against takedowns. Move your feet away, get away from the opponent who's trying to grab a hold of you. And he does that very easily. He pushes on the head with the right hand, he frames with his left arm on the shoulder, and literally just jumps away from Sergey Spivak. I mean, look how far the guy jumps away. This guy is an athlete, man. And as soon as Spivak felt his hands were off of Gane, he wasn't grabbing a hold of him anymore, he covered up expecting Gane to counter him. And as you can see, Sergey Spivak just darted in on a straight line. That's actually what he did the whole time. The whole fight, he never took off angles, he never cut off the cage, he was always going down a straight line. Made it very easy for a guy like Ciryl Gane to play him like a matador. The third takedown was actually somewhat similar. Gane just uses footwork to get away from it. So as you can see, Sergey Spivak again reaches down, tries to charge forward. Ciryl Gane angles off to his own right. Again with that left arm, he's framing slightly on Spivak's right shoulder, and he's also taking his hips away. Sergey Spivak attempts to get a hold of the clinch, and Ciryl Gane just moves away. So that was like a mix of a takedown and a clinch. And then the second takedown was the more interesting one. Sergey shoots, does not really set it up, and this time, Ciryl Gane wasn't able to get his legs and hips away from Spivak as easily as he did last time. It showed you that the timing of the takedown got Gane a bit off guard. He still leans down, elbow frames with both arms, putting both of his elbows on the shoulders, and even though Spivak's timing here was better than the other 2 takedowns, Gane was still able to hop slightly away from the grip, and as you can see, Spivak is just reaching down. These are not great shots. Sergey was able to transition this into a single leg. He lands on both of his knees, pinning Ciryl Gane up against the fence, and Gane tries to jump away. It looked like he tried to step into the fence and jump out of this, pushing Spivak's head down too. So he hops, bringing his knee upward, throws off the grip of Spivak. Spivak is losing control, he's losing balance. That explosion from Gane got Spivak a bit off guard, but he's still trying to hang on to that single leg. Ciryl Gane was able to reverse the position, now where Sergey Spivak's back is up against the fence, and there comes the sprawl. Spivak is not even trying to get this takedown at this point, he's just trying to hold on. There's no drive, there's no attempt to even get up, there's no attempt to get his footing under him. He's just hanging on to Ciryl Gane for dear life. At this point, it showed you maybe a bit of a mental difference between the two fighters, because as soon as Spivak got something that he can work with, he still didn't attempt to do much with it. That is also credit to Ciryl Gane for not only his takedown defense from the footwork earlier, from the explosion here that got Spivak off guard, but also the sprawl that he puts on him. He's constantly pushing down on the head, sprawls on top, able to get around Spivak, knees him in the body as he's constantly covering up, and exits away. You actually see a lot of that from Spivak throughout the fight, where he's covering up, not doing anything offensive, which you cannot do against someone like Ciryl Gane. You can't just cover up, because this guy's way too precise with his strikes. He's gonna find openings, and boy did he. He played him so badly in this fight. The amount of feints that Ciryl Gane was putting on this guy, and it wasn't like Israel Adesanya, Jan Blachowicz kind of feints, it was actual good feints to set up strikes constantly throughout the whole fight, and all of them Spivak was biting onto. Like, look at right here, there was no strike after this, but Ciryl Gane just simply looks down, stomps on the ground, and Spivak lowers his left hand like he's gonna parry a jab. The reason why he did that is because this southpaw jab from Gane was getting to him over and over again, constantly jabbing him in the face. So you could see the respect from the jab even halfway throughout the first round was already established. Or look right here toward the end of the second round, as you can see the welt on Spivak's body. He's gotten beaten up already. There was a massive right hook to the body that caused that. That actually came off of a feint where he was flicking his lean hand and then dug a right to the body. Every single flick feint was getting to Spivak, and it was opening up different targets for Ciryl Gane to attack, which was some beautiful work. But look at this Eisen level mind games that he plays on Sergey Spivak. So as you can see, Spivak is already covering up before Gane even threw his feints at him. So Ciryl Gane fakes with the right jab, it tightens the guard in close. Look at Spivak's guard before the fake jab. His elbows are more to his side. The center is a lot more open. But after the fake jab, he closes in his elbows, tightening up the defense on the center, but opening them up on the side. Then Ciryl Gane fakes the left hand, and Sergey Spivak ducks his head. Sergey Spivak at this point cannot see the hands, he can't see the upper body, but he can see the feet of Ciryl Gane. And what Ciryl Gane does is, he shifts his hips, steps a little bit with his right foot, but doesn't do anything. It's a very minor movement, very small. And Sergey Spivak hopped back into the fence like a nuclear bomb was gonna go off. Ciryl Gane's just simply playing with this guy. He had so many openings he could have attacked right there, which he did earlier in the fight, many times actually, but this time it looked like he was kind of just playing with his food a little bit. Watch right here in the beginning of the fight. Ciryl Gane shifts his hips like he's going to throw a leg kick. This is something you saw a lot from Lyoto Machida back in the day. And Sergey Spivak throws out an inside leg kick. Ciryl Gane easily just steps away from it. Casually, too easy for him. But he doesn't move entirely away from Spivak. He brings his feet back to place, blades his stance a bit sideways, stutter steps before a long-in jab that catches Spivak clean, man. Or right here where he again shifts his hips, turns his body square to Spivak, which makes it look like Gane is open to the head. So Sergey Spivak is going to attack him with the fastest punch he could throw, the jab. And he throws it kind of like a flicker jab too. Not much power in it, but just to get to the target. And even still, the feint from Gane triggered that out there, and he was still able to parry the jab very easily, hopping away from Sergey Spivak. Or what about right here, where Ciryl Gane moves to his own left to get away from Sergey Spivak, but also bait out that power right hand. As you can see, he even redirects before the punch is thrown, knowing exactly what Spivak was going to do before he did it. Look at that. After moving out to the left, he comes to a fast stop in order to push off the other way, exit out to the other side. Sergey Spivak throws the exact power right hand and actually moves straight forward on where Ciryl Gane just was. Gane did poke him in the eye, and it actually looks like he may have poked him twice. So it was beautiful work from him to feint this direction, bait out the right hand, readied himself to move out away from the punch before it was even thrown, easily getting away from that attack. But as you can see with his right hand, he does kind of scrape the face of Sergey Spivak, and then he does it again with the left hand. Unfortunate though that the ref didn't call it, as he was a bit far away. Can't really blame Mark Goddard for being too far because, you know, Ciryl Gane moves all over the place. He's a very big guy. Can easily run into him, but Mark Goddard has to be on that. And here we go to those flicker feints. Ciryl Gane was constantly flicking with his hand to get a defensive reaction out of Spivak in order to open things up for him to land with his punches. So he flicks his right hand, and because of that, Spivak picks up his guard, opening up the body for the left straight. He does it again with the right hand. Spivak covers up and now leans into Ciryl Gane, which opens up the side of the body. Now the center of the body is not going to be exposed as much as Spivak is leaning into him, but the side of the body is going to be there as there's nothing defending it. Whenever someone guards up and leans into you to close in space, you can hit him with hooks to the body like this. And this is the punch that actually causes the welt. And then not too far after, Ciryl Gane does it again, flicks his right hand. Spivak this time doesn't cover up. He tries to parry that quote-unquote jab, leans away expecting Gane to potentially throw a left hand or something to the head, but by him leaning away, he opens up his legs, and Ciryl Gane lands the inside leg kick. I mean, this is just beautiful work from Ciryl Gane. Then he does it again a bit later in the second round. Sergey Spivak covers up, leans into Ciryl Gane again, and as you can see, just like last time, there's that big hook to the body that's ready to go. You can see the welt, and Ciryl Gane is looking directly at it. Punches kind of toward the same spot. It looks like maybe his front knuckle may have landed on that welt, but it's a beautiful body shot. Amazing work overall from Ciryl Gane, who is using Sergey Spivak as a bit of a punching bag. I mean, look at the combination he's able to put on him. Firstly, he has Sergey Spivak backed up to the fence. When that happens, you know it's getting to the end, right? Because Spivak doesn't have the footwork to engage him. The takedown's going to be much more obvious when he's backed up. Ciryl Gane is so much faster with his footwork. There's really not much Sergey Spivak can do to him at this point, other than Ciryl Gane messing up and exposing himself getting knocked out or something crazy, you know? But Gane fought this fight extremely intelligent, as he usually does. So Gane reaches forward, grabs into the left wrist, steps on the outside, lines up not the usual left straight, but a step-in elbow, which does get blocked by Spivak. Because of the successful defense, Spivak feels like he has an opening here, and he throws a check left hook, but Gane saw it a mile away. He leans away, pulls on the punch, causes it to overextend. Just quick defense from Ciryl Gane, man. Didn't even have his hands up or anything. He counters Spivak with his jab. There's that reach advantage right there. And then follows that up with a clean left straight to the face. The bodywork overall was magnificent from Ciryl Gane. landing so many body shots, from snap kicks digging into the body, left straights to the body that were landing clean as well. Even at one moment took this very wide angle. He fakes his left straight to get Spivak to cover up, and you know Spivak usually gets his eyes off the target when he does that, and he also slightly leans away, and Ciryl Gane used all of this in order to hop wide to the outside. Very wide angle he took here, in order to line up that body as Spivak is turning to face him. While he's turning, he opens up his body, picking that left hand up. Did not expect a left hand to the body. Even the combination setting up body shots, throwing a simple jab cross, the jab up top, the cross to the body, everything was working on Sergey Spivak. And there was even that moment where Ciryl Gane could have ended the fight if he landed this. He threw the kick a little too short. So he enters in with a jab to the body and then backs away. Sergey Spivak is being a little bit more pressuring, but look at his footwork here, man. Look at Spivak's feet when he goes to move forward. He brings his back foot in and then steps out with his left. He's walking reverse and almost got him potentially KO'd, because the funny thing about it is, Ciryl Gane looks down. Now, I think he looked down to try to fake him out for a head kick. So he looks down, but I'm pretty sure he saw the feet. And he was probably like, what is this guy doing? He throws up that lead left high kick. And look at Sergey Spivak's reaction. Because Ciryl Gane looked down, he goes to check a quote-unquote leg kick that he thought was coming and weaken his defense up top. But look at the kick though. If Ciryl Gane straightened his leg a bit, he would have made this a longer attack and the foot could have potentially hit the head. But because he threw it this way with his leg bent, it caused the attack to be a lot shorter, ultimately missing the target. Sergey Spivak was able to counter that with a leg kick, and now he has Ciryl Gane close to the fence. All he has to do here is cut him off, which you know is not going to happen. Ciryl Gane steps to his left in order to bounce the other way. Very similar to what he's done throughout this fight. And Spivak was so slow to it. He actually walked forward to the spot that Ciryl Gane was at before he hopped away and loses him completely. But there was a pretty good punch that Spivak landed. He landed a couple good punches throughout this fight, and this is one of them. So he actually goes forward and throws a wide left hook, actually cutting off Ciryl Gane with that punch, catching him pretty good to the jaw. It does get partially blocked from Ciryl Gane's right hand. Gane was able to take the punch very well, and instead of cutting him off with this aggression, Spivak walked forward in a straight line, expecting Ciryl Gane to not move laterally. I mean, he threw the left hook, knowing that Gane was going to move to his right. He cut him off with that punch, and even looked at where Gane was moving. And then for the follow-up shots, he attacked in a straight line. It just did not make sense at all. And now look at the positions. It's reversed. Ciryl Gane's in the center of the cage now. I just gotta mention it. Straight punch beat looping punch. Gane did attack him with a jab as Sergey Spivak was trying to catch him with a hook. The punch landed on the center. Very good example of this. But at the end of the fight, Gane pummeled him. He just went berserk. I mean, solid awareness whenever Spivak did throw a punch back, but still, he was trying to KO this guy. Spivak was covering up way too much and taking way too many shots because of that. And it was ultimately a great, amazing masterclass performance from Ciryl Gane. The question coming out of this is going to be, does this prove that he does better against Jon Jones in a rematch or potentially can beat him? I don't think so. I think Jones is a much higher level wrestler than Sergey Spivak. I think he's way better at getting takedowns. Even though Ciryl Gane showed better takedown defense, some of the athleticism is probably not going to work as much. It could work against a guy like Spivak who has two left feet, not against Jones. So I do think he would do better in a rematch for sure, but I think at the end of the day, the outcome will be not too different. But with that, who does Ciryl Gane fight next? Tom Aspinall called him out, right? Tom Aspinall wants to fight him, and I think that fight makes a lot of sense, especially now that Sergey Pavlovich is the backup fighter for Jon Jones versus Stipe Miocic, which leaves these two top contenders without an opponent. And Tom Aspinall made very short work of his last opponent, not injured, ready to go again. I like this fight. I really like this fight a lot. I think Ciryl Gane is a much better striker overall, as Tom Aspinall does leave his chin up in the air too much, and I think against a precise striker like Ciryl Gane, it would hurt him. But I'm very curious to see if Tom Aspinall can get the fight to the ground with his doubles, because he shoots a double leg way better than Sergey Spivak, and he's very good on the ground too. So I think it's a great fight, and I think that's the one to make next. So I hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown, and if you did, make sure to give this a thumbs up. Enjoy my content, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video.